Okay, let's be real for a second. Haven't we all had that moment? You're staring at a math problem, everything's going fine, and then there it is. That tiny little dot that just throws a wrench in the whole thing. It's so small, right? But man, can it cause a headache? Well, not anymore. Today, we're going to put an end to that decimal point frustration for good.
Welcome! In this explainer, we are going to completely demystify decimals. And I mean it. No confusing theories, no crazy jargon. We're just going to break it all down into a few super simple rules for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And then, you guessed it, we're going to put them to the test.
And look, this isn't just about acing a math quiz. Think about it. Decimals are everywhere. They're on your bank statement, at the gas pump, when you're trying to calculate a tip, everywhere. So getting a handle on them, it's like having a practical, everyday superpower. So let's dive in.
First up, we've got the foundation for both adding and subtracting. It's what I like to call the alignment rule. And trust me, it's about as simple as it gets.
Yeah, that's it. Seriously, just 2 steps. The absolute key, the one thing you have to remember, is to line up those decimal points vertically. Stack them right on top of each other. Once that's done, you can pretty much just ignore them for a second and do the math just like you would with regular whole numbers.
So here's the bottom line for adding and subtracting. Just stack the numbers so those decimal points make a perfect straight line top to bottom. Then when you get your answer, you just bring that decimal point straight down. That's it. It's all about that alignment.
All right, rule number 1 is down. Let's move on. Now, for multiplication, we're going to totally forget about alignment. Instead, we're going to play a little counting game. I call this one the counting rule.
So the first thing you do here is just pretend those decimal points aren't even there. Seriously, ignore them. You just take the numbers, in this problem that's 657 and 75, and multiply them like normal. You get 49,275. Okay, so now what? The million-dollar question is, where does that decimal point go? And here is the secret sauce. You go back to your original numbers, 0.0657 and 0.75. All you have to do, and this is the whole trick, is count the total number of digits that are after the decimal point in both of those numbers altogether.
So in point 0.0657, you've got 4 digits after the decimal. In point 75, you've got 2. You add them up, 4 plus 2 gives you our magic number, which is 6. This number is the key to the whole puzzle. That's exactly right. As our source material explains, you take that product we got, 49275, and you count in 6 spaces from the right to place your decimal. Now, wait a second. We only have 5 digits, right? No problem. We just add a 0 at the front, and boom, our final answer is 0.049275. See? Just a simple counting game.
Okay, time for our last operation, division. Now, let's be honest, this is the one that usually makes people sweat a little. But don't worry, there's a really simple, kind of elegant rule for this one too.
So here's the big question, right? You're doing long division, you've got a decimal point inside that little division box. What on earth do you do with it? Where does it go in the final answer?
You're going to love this. The secret could not be easier. Let's look at this example. 808.9 divided by 25. Check this out. Before you do any math at all, you just take the decimal point from the number inside the box and float it straight up into the answer line. That's it. Just straight up. And our source material backs this up. Once you've moved that decimal point up, you just forget about it and do the division like you normally would. The decimal is already sitting there, waiting for you in the perfect spot. No counting, no guessing, just move it straight up.
Okay, so we've got the alignment rule, the counting rule, and the division rule. We've got our tools. Now let's put them all together and tackle a real-world problem to see how they all play together.
So here's the setup. We have a fellow named Mr. Azim. He sold some rice, onions, and wheat. Our job is to figure out how much money he made in total and then how much he has left after he put some of it in the bank. This one's going to use all the rules we just went over.
Okay, first things first. To get his total earnings, we have to do 3 different multiplications. And for that, we're going to use our counting rule, right? We'll multiply the amount of rice by its price, the onions by their price, and the wheat by its price.
So, after we do those 3 multiplication problems, we need to add up the results. And to do that, of course, we use our trusty alignment rule. When we put it all together, we find out that Mr. Azim earned a grand total of 184,625 taka.
But hold on, we're not quite done yet. The last piece of the puzzle is to see what he has left after he deposits 110,000 taka. So that means we have to subtract,
And which rule do we use for that?
You got it, the alignment rule again. We just line up the numbers, do the subtraction, and we find out Mr. Azim has 74,625 taka left over. By just using those simple rules, we just solved a pretty complex real-world problem. Pretty cool how it all fits together, isn't it?
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that decimals are not the enemy. They really aren't scary. They just follow a few simple, predictable rules. Once you know about alignment for adding and subtracting, counting for multiplying, and that straight-up trick for division, you can really handle any decimal problem that comes your way. So the only question left is, now that you've got this down, what's the next math concept you're going to conquer?